Hello, everybody. Welcome to Tadaima, Terrace House Podcast, your weekly companion to your favorite show on Netflix. I'm Robert Scarpanito, and I'm joined here by Daily Wilhelm,
Konbanwa,
Jack Cepeda,
Irashai Mase, and hello and welcome to all my sexual Terrace House fans out there.
And Collin Sparling.
The whole world. What's up, everybody? Getting sexy up in here. Terrace House time. Follow that.
I'm uncomfortable.
And we've been demonetized. Not that we were before. Hello, everybody. I hope you and yours are doing well. Guys, I just realized something. We forgot to mention that we hit episode 50 last week.
Yeah, it just kind of came and went. I was like, oh, okay.
We just it just completely flew by us, and we didn't even pay any attention.
Here, guys, I got one for everyone. Take this Centrum Silver.
Thanks.
We're in the silver years now. Mm-hmm. Get your iron levels up, and we're going to celebrate our old age now in 50 weeks young, right?
That's awesome.
So I was look, we celebrated episodes as if they were years for our 21st because that was fun.
Yeah.
But guys, Centrum Silver is not a fun word or phrase to use.
What are you talking about? They make them in gummies now. It's very fun and whimsical.
Gummy vitamins are one of the best inventions ever.
I'm just saying, does that mean when we hit episode 90, we're gonna celebrate that we're non-vegetarian, the 90s?
So
only 90 kids will remember.
I'm just gonna throw out there that I don't know what the fuck Centrum Silver is,
bro. Do you have grandparents?
Yeah.
Chances are they've got it in
what
their
if you
cupboard.
said no? And
I know I'd have been like, "Oh, awkward."
Just a jerk.
I know.
So it sounds like it's a It's a vitamin. It's a supplement.
Yeah, it's for the silver years.
It's the good pill to help you stay on track.
This week's episode of Tadaima brought to you by Centrum Silver.
I don't think you guys understand how hillbilly my grandparents are, but okay.
Saying, if we say Centrum Silver one more time on this podcast, I'm gonna be scared for our listener base for thinking that we're actually getting old.
Listen, all I know is that 10 more episodes or so, we could probably register to be a part of the Golden Girls. Okay.
Anyways, the point being is that we got to 50. It took a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of hours, a lot of blood, sweat, and Shohei tears to get here.
Shohei tears and Udai tears.
Shohei's
Damn it, we're
tears.
celebrating. This is what it sounds like when we celebrate. Yeah, this is what it sounds like, though, when we get hype.
But we are getting old and forgetful because we forgot to celebrate in the last episode.
Yes,
Truth.
But it's been 51. A while since we started in November, and I know we've been thanking you guys a lot lately in the past few episodes, but thank you again to all of our lovely listeners from all around the world.
And I can't wait till we hit 65 so we can collect all of our social security checks, right?
Yes.
Can we start collecting quarters for every state in the United States? That's a thing that old people do, right?
Yeah, okay, so moving on. Today, we're talking about Arman and Masako Endo, Marsa. She goes by a lot of names. Marsa. Today we're talking about those two, the last couple, the last official couple of boys and girls in the city. They're the last ones to get together officially.
Saigo no Koi.
Yes.
The last love.
What would you call Arman? In the grand scheme of Terrace House, would he be the prodigal son of Terrace House just because of how fucking long he was in the house? Did
he have the longest stint in Boys and Girls?
He was up. It's up there. I think it's the second compared to. There's somebody in Boys and Girls Next Door. Yeah. Obviously that we haven't seen, but they've had it longer. But I think Arman is second place or third place.
So Arman is currently second place on every season that's on Netflix International.
Nice.
Who's number one?
Someone on BGND. Okay, well, so yeah, he's the first place on Netflix International.
Okay, so he is. The way you were, I was really confused.
Well, there's someone else in BGND, but otherwise, Arman is the longest standing member. Daily.
I feel like it would be a good description of Arman just as a whole for who he is and what he went through. He's the number 2 guy. He's not number 1. But he's
in a more
there.
literal sense.
He is the Centrum Silver. He is earning the silver medal for everything.
I don't know. He got worse than a bronze medal for skateboarding, in my opinion. I love the guy, but
I saw what he was going for. because he was like, oh, it's like surfing, and he didn't have shoes on, and he was like ready to go, and then it was like, it's not like surfing.
Okay,
it's
We're going to talk about a
significantly
skateboard
different.
in this episode.
Real talk. I just want to get into it now. Do not skateboard without shoes on. PSA, if there's anything you're getting from our show, do not skateboard without shoes on.
Seems rough.
What are the dangers?
That's grip tape. That shit's worse than sandpaper. That could rip
that's
the
true.
skin
But
off
also,
your feet.
I mean, a big part of skateboarding too, when you're jumping up, like, full disclosure, I don't know how to fucking skateboard. I can barely rollerblade, okay? But at least I know that when you're jumping and stuff, you're using the toe of your shoe, like the top of the toe of your shoe, to like lift up the skateboard. So there's just a lot of friction.
Yeah, how you
going
gonna
on.
break? How you gonna break?
yeah, this is part of it. Yeah.
I don't know what Arman's plan was. I've seen enough episodes of MTV Scarred featuring Jacoby Shaddix from Papa Roach to know that things don't end well on a skateboard a lot of the times, which is part of the reason why like I've never been a skateboarder. As many times as I've been profiled as a skateboarder in like high school and shit, I was like, yeah, you're a skater, right? I'm like, no, I'm not a skateboarder. Thank you very much. Just because I have long shaggy hair and wear band t-shirts does not make me a skateboarder.
Oh man. So are we talking
so
about how
inconvenienced.
bad Arman is at skateboarding then? Like him breaking his ass on that half pipe over and over again?
We got like 2 shots of him eating shit, eating dirt.
He's bad at skateboarding. He's good at most other things.
So- Yeah.
Mostly.
I'm just saying, like, this is another one of those, like, it's not just, oh, he's bad, haha. It's one of those, you could actually lose your skin off your foot by doing what he's doing. So don't do it.
Before we give him too much shit for skateboarding, have we even introduced Arman properly yet?
Yes, we did a couple
We
episodes
had
ago.
a
You
whole
can find that on
episode.
Tadaima
We
Terrace
did.
House Podcast on YouTube.
Yeah, he's our boy from Hawaii, and he's the lone boy that speaks English very jarringly in the house.
Yeah, and his voice is way deeper in Japanese, and it's really high when he speaks English.
And he speaks really, really quickly in Japanese to the point that people can't understand him.
That's
And
right.
his neck doesn't move.
His neck literally
His
doesn't move.
eyelids don't move. His face doesn't move. He's got like Botox going on.
He's like
Arman is a statue.
he's like Michael Keaton when he was Batman. He had the cowl that doesn't let his neck turn.
Oh yeah.
He would have
He's
he would have to move his
stoic.
entire shoulders, like his entire torso.
That's right. Yeah.
Maybe it's just he's got great posture.
Maybe.
He's like a Resident Evil 1 character on PS1.
He moves with like tank controls. That's how he walks.
I mean, hey, he swims with tank controls, man. Would he doggy paddle?
Totally.
Straight. No deviation, of course.
It was serious too. He was there to beat Rico Pine's ass.
Dude,
The doggy
he
paddle
looked
race.
like that scene with David Hasselhoff in the SpongeBob movie.
It was
Yep.
funny.
Oh,
He-
man.
He's just skidding
You're
across
right.
the water, and his whole body is just not budging.
Yeah, it was like a submarine going in the water, right? Periscope up. No movement.
Anyway, the other half of our episode today is Masako Masa Endo, who joins the house at the age of 22, and she's only on the show for the last, I think, 7 or 8 episodes.
Damn, is her
Honestly.
stint that short?
It's
Her
not too long.
Yes, it is, right?
Here's the funny thing. Her stint is about as long as Momoka-san's, but who remembers Momo? Am I right? Sorry, but I mean, come
Listen,
on.
the thing about Momo, okay, we said last week that that's the only time we're going to talk about her, but
I know,
damn
I
it, we're going to
broke
talk
my
about her a little bit here, though, because she came in, she was in the house for 2 months and had 1 day off, and Yama-chan was making fun of her, like, what a waste that your 1 day off was, because she went and saw that terrible stand-up comedian act with Arman on her 1 day off in the 2 months she was on Terrace House. Then she worked and danced and practiced every other day.
Like, I'm not gonna blame Arman for like, oh, you took her to like a terrible comedy duo, because it was like his buddy and he wanted
Yeah.
to like show support, and he probably didn't know that it was gonna be that bad, but
No, you can't blame him, yeah.
No.
it was funny at first, and then suddenly like, oh, the hamburger patties, I'm scared.
So
What
funny.
a-
It was
yeah.
so funny.
So is it?
What a ham.
Has it been determined that it is like just it was objectively bad? Did they say that in the show? I don't remember. My memory's failing me here.
The hosts like you and Tokui were like, I guess I just don't understand that kind of humor, or maybe it was just funnier. You had to be there, kind of thing.
You needed to be
okay.
You need to be streets ahead to understand that kind of humor, you know.
Oh my God. I don't know. I watched it. And I was just like, I feel like I'm missing something here because this isn't.
I think everyone agreed with you.
So
I think even Japanese people agreed with you.
My thing with Momo was 2 months, 1 day off. Like, can you functionally wrap your head around that?
That's
60 days with only 1 day off. Like, look, I get that she's kind of going for the whole ballerina prodigy. She's been doing it since she was a wee young lass, but give yourself a break. You objectively work worse if you don't give yourself a break.
I mean, we are talking about...
That's not how it is for ballerinas.
It's not how it is for Japan. I mean,
is that
we're
true,
talking about a culture here that has invented a word for working to death.
True, but hold on, Daly, you actually have experience in this. Is that true? No days off?
In ballet?
Yeah.
What?
Y'all, okay, I got signed up for ballet when I was like 6 years old.
Whoa.
Because I walked on my tiptoes, which later became a medical issue, but this is what my parents originally thought was the solution. Within a week, I led a rebellion of the other children because we were doing nothing but like sitting and listening to music and animal sounds, and I was like, okay, we're gonna go do ballet, and I'm leading the class now, and so I was kicked out. So I can't say whether or not that's the kind of grueling schedule, but I have seen some like vlogs and stuff from ballerinas, and it's like, yeah, you're doing classes or practicing in the morning and afternoon, and then you're getting ready for the show, and then you're performing in the show, and then you're going to bed, and then you're starting all over again.
Then you're leading a township rebellion.
Mm-hmm.
And then you lead the rebellion.
It's part of ballerina school, I assume.
They really try to get that rebellious kind of notion into your mind early so that you can topple world governments.
This is one of the most rock and roll.
Fuck the law, fight the norm.
I know. This thing is the same thing. Like, this is one of the most rock and roll stories I've ever heard. Seriously.
So, yeah. Okay. Well, this episode isn't even about Momo, but that's it. I think we're done now. Speaking like
now we're really done.
No more about her, I guess.
Yeah.
But I wish her luck in
Momo.
future endeavors.
Momo-chan, we barely knew ye.
Same. Masako Marsa Endo. She joins the house pretty late into the show, and it's kind of striking that I have this theory. Doesn't take much to think of it. Producers picked her purely for Arman's sake, because the first thing she says when she comes into the house, when people ask her, hey, what do you want to be? I want to be happy. No one says that.
She's a fucking plant.
I mean, she got it. Yeah, I mean, I think she was kind of saying the line, right? Reverberating it from seeing Arman say it, because she kind of looked at him. It was kind of like a little like wink, wink,
nudge
to him. And then people said that she's the girl version of Arman, basically. And so she came to the house. She had a really heavy bag. I remember. She's like, sorry I took so long. And I feel like Arman was a little nervous, I guess, because, he's looking for love still. He's still putting himself out there, and he wants to see if something might go down. And they seem compatible. She's half Filipino, half Japanese. She speaks Tagalog.
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 You're allowed to tag along.
Tagalog.
Hey, I'm going to the store. Do you want to tag along?
No walking away from that one. Okay, so you know what I mean though. But and I completely agree with Robert. Like, she seems like she was basically handpicked, but that's not necessarily how it plays out. You can put people together, but if the chemistry is not there, then it's not there. You can't force it, and we find out soon. Maybe she's got her eye on something else.
Yeah, she falls for Hayato straight up. When the first time she goes up to the girls' room and they're all hanging out for the night, they all talk about, who do you like of all the boys? And Marsa's super into Hayato. She thinks Hayato's cute. And, we're kind of jumping through and skipping through a bunch of this stuff, but we get this scene where Arman asks Marsa out. And this is after his submarine-like doggy paddling experience. So he's clearly shown off. Very alpha.
She knows what she's going to get.
This is one of the first times where we get a bunch of people in the pool at the same time too.
Yes. And after they're all in the pool, he kind of awkwardly asks Martha out. I remember it being kind of, I don't know, I just didn't feel like Arman felt comfortable asking her out. It almost felt that he kind of needed to for the show, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It wasn't smooth. It wasn't very smooth.
No. It felt very out of the blue. It was almost kind of uncomfortable in some ways. Like, I don't know. It felt really strange. And then Martha... Go ahead, Daly.
I wonder if there's that pressure with having been the person that's been there the longest and having kind of failed at the romantic adventure that he previously had attempted. If it's like, well, I guess it's now or never. I gotta like earn my keep and do the dates to be here.
Yeah, I certainly think that's 100% a part of it. I mean, you at that point are feeling the pressure. I mean, you're especially Arman, who is, I mean, other than the work he has at the garden shop, is that what it is?
Landscaping.
They do landscaping.
Yeah.
I don't think that I would go so far as to say that like he had to date her to feel like, oh, I got to earn my bed here at Terrace House, but rather I just think he was lonely and he's just like, oh, right. I want to date somebody. I wanted to date Momo-chan, but she's gone now. And we did go on that one date, but I just think he was kind of lonely and he didn't have any desire really to leave Terrace House either. He was liking it.
Yeah.
Right. And he was just sitting around the house otherwise. And he was probably, like you said, getting lonely. But then Martha kind of, after he asked her out, kind of throws him under the bus in front of Hayato.
It's like, awkward.
Yeah. She's like, oh, is he normally like that kind of a thing? Right. But she eventually kind of not pins him down, but asks him like, hey, can you teach me how to cook? Yeah, I'm an amateur cook, but I want to learn more.
They're at that dinner table all by themselves in the kitchen, and she's like, well, there's no, she's kind of she's almost using Arman as like a pawn to get a bead on Hayato. Like, well, there's no reason why I should say no. Is there? You know what I mean? I was just like, I just was feeling bad for Arman there, I guess, because it was so clear she wasn't feeling him.
We also do know the Hayato Rico thing underground. So I feel like maybe Hayato kind of panicked a little bit at that question of there's no reason for you to say no, right?
Right, yeah.
And he's like, oh, no, she knows.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And he was also, I honestly do feel like he was testing the waters as well, Terashima. I feel like he was like, well, she's a new girl. She's attractive. I'll teach her to cook. We'll see what happens, because they do end up cooking. It's a pretty delicious meal. And then they go and put their feet in the water and have like a tender moment by the pool. So I feel like he was almost testing the waters.
It turns into a whole day affair, and they did literally test the waters. Thank you for that, Jack. That little detail.
It is.
I mean, it was weird because when I saw that scene of them together at the pool talking to each other, there felt like there was a lot of chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was a lot of chemistry, but I think the whole Hayato Rico thing is what nipped that in the bud real quick. You know what I'm saying? It kind of cut that off at the knees before it could even start. Because I feel like that was already kind of going strong. I don't remember. I don't want to go into that too much, but I don't remember how long it's been going on exactly at that point.
I want to say this was maybe just a few episodes before the incident showed up on our side, like before we learned about it.
Right, and apparently it had been going on for like, I want to say at least a month.
No, I think Burns only said a week before the incident. Oh. But we'll cover all that next week. That is a next week episode. Don't miss it.
That's its own episode.
And keep in touch because
bombastic.
We have thoughts. We have words. It'll be crazy.
Feelings.
But it's so much shit.
Stay
tuned.
But there's really no, speaking of so much shit, there's no really good segue for what I want to talk about next. What happens the next morning? Other than, I guess, what we just did. I guess that was the segue. But one of the things I always remember about Martha in the house was that day that it was early in the morning. She made a very delicious looking smoothie for everybody. It had like strawberries. It looked like spinach. It had ice or whatever. And she makes this really good looking, in the Terrace House way of shooting things beautifully. And it looked really good. She shares it with a bunch of people in the house. And like literally like 15 minutes later, they all get the rumbles. They're like having to like check in and out of the bathroom, and it made everyone have to go poop. And I'm just like, wow, smoothie was powerful. And so somehow that's always been kind of like imprinted on the brand of Martha. She makes the fiber-rich smoothies in the morning.
I might be able
300%
to
daily fiber.
answer why that's a thing a little bit. So, Nihonde, in Japan, dairy is much more like a treat. It's definitely not a staple in a large part of the diet. So, upon ingesting dairy, it's kind of surprising for some Japanese people the reaction that they get.
It's like wheatgrass.
So
Like
are you
wheatgrass
saying
shots.
like are a lot of Japanese people like do they lean lactose intolerant? Is that what you're saying? Like do some of them just can't take it?
Scientifically, there was a time in the world where it was like only us like pasty white people, like Nordic, etc., that like developed the ability to digest dairy the way that we do. And over time, it's become more common. But yes, Asian people are more likely to have lactose intolerance than white people.
Interesting. And so it was the Slavics that pioneered this then.
They're the ones who thought, what if I drink cow piss?
Maybe.
The Anglo-Saxons. So like here's the
Someone
thing too,
one day was like looking at a cow and was like, me too, I could do
put
that.
my mouth on that udder. But that's another thing too. Humans are the only mammal, if I'm correct here, if I'm not mistaken, that drink the milk of other mammals of another species.
That
I don't
would be
think there's any
correct.
mammals on here. Yes.
Yeah, humans
That's
are
why you
weird.
come to Tadaima for these little
Humans are
nuggets.
weird.
Mhm, humans are fucking weird.
Definitely.
Who knew that when you were going to listen to Tadaima today, you were going to get some great random trivia?
Well, you know what else
That
you
one's
get?
free, folks.
You know what else you get? You get some insight about Martha here. So she talks to Hayato, right? Or no, she talks to Riko after the day she spends with Hayato, right? And I want to highlight this only because it so starkly contrasts with what we're going to talk about next week. But Martha is straight up with what we can assume at this point would be her rival in love, Riko, right? And not only is she straight up about, hey, I spent the day yesterday with Hayato, we cooked and we tested the waters with our toes. She also gives Riko a little bit of insight in terms of, I don't think Hayato knows how he feels about you yet.
Yes.
All in all, Martha has her girl's back. Riko doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's just very upfront. Like, I mean, Riko doesn't really ask for it, but she's like, here's how I think Hayato feels about you, because Hayato kind of lays it out by the pool that night, if I recall right. Kind of throws his feelings out there.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I just wanted to point that out because Riko, there's so, this is so close to the incident, but we're saving it for next week.
I was about to say, she dipped out. I love the way she dipped out. She's like, oh, my stomach's rumbling too.
Yep.
And leaves.
But girls don't poop.
Yep.
Known fact. Known fact of life.
Hashtag known fact. The more you know.
I learned that in 6th grade. It's also when I learned girls have cooties.
Cooties, yeah. That's a thing, cooties.
Oh, yeah. I'm ravaged by cooties.
It's the only
Something I
reason we
live
do this
with every
remotely,
day.
because Haley has all those cooties.
Because he can't
My
hang out
God.
with me.
We can't be infected by Daily.
Not by those cooties. Gross.
Yeah, she said she's in her own quarantine bubble.
Well, unfortunately, everyone gets infected by girl cooties at the camping trip. So this is our second time visiting this camping trip fiasco. We mentioned it in last week's episode because this is where basically everyone's paths intersect, right? Everyone has events that happen here. The camping trip is where we see Arman fall on his ass like 3 times maybe on the skateboard.
His face doesn't change when he falls either.
He really doesn't.
It's so funny watching him break his ass because that's all you see happen.
You could take it frame by frame probably, and his face would just be the same.
It's like, this is my
He
life.
always looks so nonplussed, stoic. I don't know how to describe it.
Like, I don't want
really
to
don't.
fault him for that either. It's just something like funny that I've always noticed, because it's like some people can't help like what their resting expression is, and maybe he wants to be more emotive, but he just can't.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, after he's done falling on his ass, so we get this juxtaposition between, like, they're all at a campfire and everyone starts breaking off from the campfire, right? Arman asks Arisa, hey, do you want to come with me back to the cabin?
Arisa.
Or no, Arisa, not Arisa.
Whoa.
Marsa.
Oh, man.
Yeah, he calls Arisa up. He's like, hey, you want to go camping?
Man.
No.
How
Damn.
terrible would it have been if he called
Big
Martha,
oof.
hey, Arisa.
That would have been wild.
Damn.
And she'd bring hats for everyone. No, he asks Marsa, hey, you want to go back to the cabin with me real quick? And Marsa is kind of like, anyone else want to? Hey guys, anybody else? Would anyone else
Help
please
me,
like to
please?
join me to the cabin?
I honestly think she didn't want to leave. I mean, she was very preoccupied by Rico and Terashima being alone at the fireplace. So she's like, come with me. She was like motioned over to her, right? Like, follow me. Don't leave me alone with Arman. Man, it was cringy.
A little bit. And I think it's at this point that Marsa knows that Rico is about to do something with Hayato. Because here, this is where Rico asks him out to go see fireworks, right? And then down yonder, up in the cabin, up on the second floor on the terrace house, we have Arman asking Marsa out, saying, hey, that I think you're cool. It's been fun getting to know you. I'd like to get to know you more. Right?
Asked her out again for a second time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
Was
like he's basically he's kind of sweet talking her a little bit. He's like, I think he tells her she's cute and stuff. Or
You're the cutest girl I've seen
He says
in
something
Terrace
along those
House.
lines.
Yeah.
And because I remember her specifically going, Ottoman, like she's like very.
Question
I don't know if. Yeah.
for you guys. Did you think he was drunk when he did that?
Maybe.
Because to me, it felt like he was like maybe a couple drinks in.
He was
Definitely
being very
could've been.
honest. He was being very, his inhibitions were gone. I mean, he was saying, there's no girls like you here. I really like your personality. He's basically kind of bearing it all to her on that balcony.
It could have been a little bit of drunken courage that made him want to pull her away randomly like that.
He might have been
definitely
wearing
wasn't.
one of Arisa's hats too.
Oh, maybe.
He had
Maybe
that, hat,
Arisa
that
was
straw
there.
hat. It definitely
Maybe she
wasn't on
was.
the same level as like when Burns was like, I'm just gonna kiss you on the forehead, don't worry about it, I'm just on the forehead, and it was like, oh no.
Yeah, that was bad. But at least
Yeah.
But
I feel like they both knew they were both into each other,
I think Arman's a pretty smooth guy. I mean, I think he knows when to ask girls out and when he asked Martha out, it was awkward. But I mean, he never had that awkward kiss moment though. He got off free with that.
I don't necessarily know if Arman's a smooth guy.
Not on a skateboard.
That, and also at the actual dinner date with Marsa, right? They have this little date. They're on another terrace. I'm not meaning to put these words in there, but they're literally on another terrace at a restaurant, right?
Ha.
They're having dinner, and he's doing the whole thing again. Oh, you're really cute. Recently Terrace House has been a lot more fun. Recently, and Marsa
Wonder
saying,
why.
"Oh
Wink,
yeah, why is that?" And then a train goes by,
Dencha.
and then Arman
So-
just says, "Oh, a train."
It was the loudest train in the world. We are
so
skipping
loud.
a lot of stuff here, though. I don't want to get too far ahead first. I mean, doesn't Martha go on that date with Terashima like right after the campfire?
That lunch date, yeah.
Yeah,
lunch
they go on a
date
date,
is
and
super
he
awkward.
basically shuts her ass down. It was kind of brutal. He's like, we can't be going out by ourselves. We're just gonna be friends. I mean, it wasn't like Costco, but it might as well have been.
Yeah.
Costco's the safe word.
Yes.
no,
and so good.
No, he shuts her down, yeah, like you said. And I have a good feeling at this point, this is definitely when he and Rico
We're
did
doing the
stuff.
things.
We're doing
and stuff.
things.
Yeah. There are certain implications there, we'll say. Implications. But
Yeah, it's
oh good.
No, I wanted to say like it's funny how many like since this is a lot of our second watches, how much of that shit you actually pick up on this time around.
Yeah.
Then I think okay. Good.
This is another time where it's like Arman's getting that silver medal. He wasn't the first choice, but he's maybe the best choice in this situation anyway for Martha.
Very
She
true.
then goes into the girls' room and basically lays it out for the girls like, hey, it's not going to happen. We're just friends. He told me that we can't go out, by ourselves or whatever. So that was it for the Terashima encounters. You know, they're not going to be romantic. But then I wonder, I mean, the conspiracy theory here, like, does Arman do this on purpose to get her attention? And of course I'm joking, of course he didn't do it on purpose, but he did get in that huge accident and got basically smashed and almost ran over by a car, right? Like, one of the worst accidents in Terrace House history.
On purpose.
I know, it's a joke.
Yeah, he definitely didn't do it on purpose. But no, he really, to my own words, fucked himself up.
He fucked his shit up.
Yeah,
he got
dude.
Up, dude.
He had stitches in his head. He had, he was road rash all over him. Tore his ear up really bad. Chipped his tooth. Like, he said he didn't break any bones, which I'm really surprised, honestly.
Dude,
I didn't know what to
road rash.
expect, because it was like we were skateboarding to the corner store and Arman got hit by a car. I just like heard this sound and it's like, has he broken something? Like, is he going to be in the hospital for a while? Like, there was no like unit of measurement for like how injured he was from what we heard from Burns. And Burns was like really anxious and freaking out. So it was like, shit, okay, so this is where Arman's time at Terrace House ends. He's going to be in the hospital for the rest of the time.
Yeah, like he went to the ER and everyone's sitting there on the couch in the living room pretty worried about him. And man, I felt for them too, because I know what it's like to worry about someone when you just don't know what is going on. And Burns was like literally brought to tears, and he was really upset when Arman walked in. I mean, he's glad that he's okay,
in on
nonchalant too. Yeah, but he's mad that he put himself in that position, because I mean, Burns was like, man, he was like mother bird there. He was like, you could have seriously died. You know,
that was more
he really cared. That's right. She was super crying too. A lot of people were upset.
Yeah, Burns was more the bro who was like, I'm glad you're still alive, bro. You know?
Bruh.
That's right. Tomo-san was really
breathing,
upset.
Bruh. But yeah, she was
scary
crying. She's like, you can't just act like nonchalant. You could have died.
The only other time I can think of, I'm sure there are probably others, and just put it in the comments if you can think of it, but like Guy, right? Didn't he wreck his ass on a wave? We'll get there later.
Yeah, on a core. It was a reef. He hit his head on a reef.
Cracked his neck.
Yeah, that was some shit.
This is reminiscent of that.
Yeah, spoiler warning for Daily.
Right. But no, I think that Arman thing, he definitely didn't do that on purpose. There's no way he would, right?
Guys, it was just a joke. Gosh.
A very malicious.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing about it, though. There is a thing. Okay, I do want to touch on this. The reason why I joke about that is because there is a thing, and I wish I did more research and have the name for the phenomenon. But it's like sometimes when people think that you actually could leave their life, like involuntarily, like, oh, you're gone. Like sometimes they worry about you, and then romance sometimes blossoms out of that, and it's like almost like a rom-com situation, you know. And so that is a phenomenon that has been documented before. So I just think it's interesting, and in no way am I suggesting that Martha started liking him when he got hurt like that, but it is a thing,
right? I do love though how the moment after he got hit like that, the panelists kind of immediately throw him under the bus in terms of, Arman's the one who broke the rules there. He got arrested.
He got arrested?
And they pull out the law and they're like, Arman was skateboarding in a road he shouldn't have been skateboarding in.
Well, hey.
It was a very official announcement. Like,
was he drink? Oh, yeah. Didn't they like cite some law or something like that, or some statute?
Mm-hmm. They pulled it up on the screen.
Yeah, and it like, was he barefoot? Was he drunk? We don't know.
I really hope he wasn't barefoot.
I don't think he was either of those things, but I definitely think he was just doing like, there's those signs everywhere. It's like, it's no skateboarding, but people skateboard.
Mm-hmm.
And he was skateboarding.
So wait, was he skateboarding down a hill? Is that what happened?
I thought it was just in a crowded street, a crowded intersection.
I
figured just, going, crossing the street, and then he went too fast, and the car didn't see him, and then he was in front of the car, and then poof, car hit him.
Then he's on the ground.
I mean, he takes a bit of R&R, but eventually he recoups. Like, he's fine. It was just a scary time, but he's good now.
He's got that giant scar on his face now. He's got street cred.
And I mean, Martha basically nurses him, and love blossoms out of it, apparently.
She was the most reluctant nurse, I'm going to say, though.
I know. She totally was.
She definitely went along with it, but, like, it had to be Arman who was like, hey, could you help me, like, put this ointment on my face. And she didn't seem super jazzed about it at first. And that was one of the moments where I was like, this isn't going to work out. This isn't. Arman, I see you're trying, and I feel bad.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Is this definitely feels like a very one-sided affair still. Even with Hayato shutting the door on Marsa, you can still tell that this is Arman who likes her more than she likes him.
I don't know. I wonder if it ends up, I mean, they're not together anymore, spoiler alert.
Yeah.
But I wonder if it's just, it turns into one of those relationships of convenience that we've seen talked about on the show before. It's like, let's date someone on Terrace House. Why not? Let's do it.
Well, I don't think she really liked him that much until she did all of a sudden. And I really think it kind of surprised her. This is just my own personal opinion. I honestly don't think that she really saw him as a man until that moment on the boat. Are we going to talk about that now? Or?
Well, I mean, I guess, yeah, we can go to that. So they go on another beach date, and this is after their train date where the train rudely interrupts Arman. Where I just got to say, he had that moment. I just need to focus on this. He had that moment to basically be a character from a shoujo manga or anime. You know?
Oh, he like says something in the train.
Well, the train goes,
covers it up, and then she's left to wonder, like, what did he say?
Yeah. And then he's like, oh, nothing. Like, that could have been great TV. You
train.
Know? But instead he's just like, oh, a train. Anyway, so we go to Kamakura Station. They go on a beach date, and then he takes her out to a boat on the water, which I have many questions about that. But I guess my main worry is, so we've established that we all think Marsa doesn't like Arman as much as Arman likes Marsa, right?
Definitely at this point in the show, I definitely feel that way.
So is the right game plan confessing to the one you like in a space where they can't escape? Because, I mean, what if she said no? That would have been an awkward rest of the boat ride.
I mean, I don't think he's not the kind of guy to pressure her for an answer, too. Like, there's precedent in the show where, like, hey, I don't need your answer right now. Like, Shion was so famous for that. You know, like, take your time. Like, I don't think Arman was really pushing for there, but he wanted it to be known. I mean, there was only, we're at the third to last episode in the whole show. So, you know, he's feeling a somewhat of sense of urgency here to put his feelings out there and see what happens. And
yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say, is that I it's really surprising to me because I don't remember upon first watching. I don't remember from my first time watching the show that they move this quick. Everything happened. I mean, that's only their second date.
That's their second date.
When they're on the boat too, I love it because first he gets fucking fucked up by the train, and then he's talking to her, and an airplane goes over.
I know,
really loud.
God is against this union.
Yes, it's an unholy union.
Yeah, exactly. And so yeah, it's only their second date. It's definitely a sense of urgency, and I can't help but feel like, I mean, it's true. I feel like it's true that we're missing a lot of context and a lot of chemistry here. You know what I'm saying? Because like they say they hang out around the house a lot, and I know she like nursed him and stuff like that, right? But I can't give any one pinpoint as to why, chemistry-wise, that they're
really
getting
fireworks
together.
Yeah, there weren't really fireworks. Like I was really dreading and just getting like cringy feelings that it was going to be a reprise of the awkward asking out Arisa and then getting shut down. You're just a friend.
As a brother.
I was worried that was going to happen again. I mean, he's just saying similar things like, you know, it's fun being with you. I like your personality. Will you go out with me? And he just asked her right then and there.
And she said
he's
yes.
put himself out there.
And I will say,
like, yeah, just like that.
I think maybe his clinching move here is when he said, oh, I have to go back to Hawaii. I've got some things to take care of, which totally sounds like he needs to go murder someone back in Hawaii, but whatever.
Yeah, he has
a little bit
a hit on someone.
You mean take care of her?
That's some
he's got
things to take care of.
Yeah, some stuff. But he says that, but he also says if we go out and in the next month, if I decide I can't leave you and I can't go back to Hawaii, then I won't. That's a pretty baller thing to promise.
That's very romantic.
That was it.
Like,
that was the
I'm
moment,
not
guys.
Special, like.
Yeah,
And
that was a power move on his part, 100%.
I'll stay for you. That
it
was
was
the moment,
interesting
guys.
to me how then on, like when they later, like at the final like barbecue out on the terrace that they all had together, like the way she was like, oh yeah, he's gonna go to Hawaii, and I know that's, you know, a big part of who he is, and, you know, I'm willing to support that, and it's exciting. And like how wholeheartedly like supportive she was, but not in a way where it's like, oh, we're getting rid of Arman, I don't care if I don't see him for 6 months. It was more like I understand what a big part of his life that is, and I'm willing to support that and work through whatever comes our way.
If I have to stay in Japan, I will. And she's like, you like me that much? He's like, yes. And then boom, it was seal the deal. Super romantic moment. Her heart skipped a beat, and then they just commenced the rest of the night. Yeah, on the water. They then her heart skips a beat. They commence by just drinking, and then with drinking comes cuddling, comes some hands around the hips.
Down. They tongue down.
The make out. Yes, they make out.
They tongue down.
It's very romantic.
To my knowledge,
I object to y'all using that phrase because it was a very sweet kiss on the boat deck.
It was a very. It wasn't
sweet,
like.
And then another.
There was a baby bird being fed, like.
I object to the use of y'all. Like, you're putting me in the bucket here. I don't say the tongue down words. Okay, that's not my vernacular.
A baby bird being fed. That's Robert, a very colorful image.
Huh?
You know exactly what I'm meaning, though.
I do, but come on, they made out. They tongued down. They macked real hard. It wasn't just a passionate deep kiss. It was multiple passionate deep kisses.
It was sexy time.
Okay, then say they made out versus tongue down.
They tongue down.
Like, requires some lewdness to it. Like, you can't just be like, and then they tongue down, unless you were talking
sucks
about
all the romance out of the room.
It was dark. We don't know what else they
clothes
did.
are getting torn off right there on the boat.
Oh, that's kind of hot.
I will say, I think this is the most passionate kissing PDA that we do see on camera this season.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I would just
on camera is the key.
On camera.
Phrase there.
I would just like to say though, Arman for choosing the spots to ask people out. He chooses some fucking good ones. I mean, I know like the whole trap thing, Robert. That's a good point, but a boat across the water at sunset with Tokyo in the back. Are you fucking kidding me? Like,
hell
dude.
Yeah.
I love that, and they're dating, but I really love like the moments that come after that too. They go back home, and they basically announce to the house that they're dating now, and Arman kind of grabs her and tries to kiss her in front of everybody.
That's cute.
And it was playful. It was really fun, actually.
He tries to do that thing where it's like, oh, you got something on your face. Like, oh yeah, where? And then fucking he goes in.
Like in front of everybody. I don't know. It was romantic, I thought.
Yeah.
And then like even before that, they were like, "Oh, you guys are touching," like just like casually, like you know, legs brushed up against each other. Mm. But you know, you come to notice that if like they've never done that before, and then suddenly they're very comfortable with each other.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I mean, and I think they might be maybe my favorite couple this whole season. Maybe.
I have to think about it.
I might have to. Agree with you
for as little as we really see it, you know.
Right, we don't get to spend much time with them as a couple. It's not like we have time to get annoyed with them or something like that.
Right.
I feel like though they were the more down to earth couple. Like they were talking about, oh hey, like this is happening in my life. I'm moving back to Hawaii, I'm moving to Japan. I got to go here for work, and like they were really down to brass tacks in terms of like really working shit out. Right. Whereas like, as a contrast, Uchi Minori, right? Like Minori would just shut down anytime they try to talk about something serious.
Right.
Yeah.
I definitely feel like this was, you know, the adult couple who had both individually had their lives together. Like, you know, Martha, I really admired. And I know at some point someone kind of criticized her for like working like flip-flopping between like modeling and childcare. It's like she's got time. She'd like leave her alone. Like I think that was really admirable that she was like, eventually I know I'm going to do childcare, but for now, you know, I'm just exploring, you know, modeling and stuff. And then Arman, maybe not so much has stuff
he's got
together.
to murder people. He has to murder people back in Hawaii.
He's got some things to take care of.
I wonder what those things are, though. But I mean, he meets up with all his landscaping friends, lets them know that he's going, this time in Terrace House coming to an end. He's got like a month left. He met the girl. It was a nice moment too. It's like, they were all very congratulatory to him.
Yeah. And I also love that scene because it's kind of like Arman's redemption arc, because pretty much halfway through his tenure on the House of Terrace, a lot of the panelists are thinking he's kind of a lazy bum. It's like, LOL, aspiring firefighter, what? And then this scene kind of redeems him in that pretty much everyone at his job unanimously says, you're kind of you make all of us look bad. Like, you're the hardest worker of all of us.
Right. It's that aloha spirit, man. That's why I love him.
Good for him.
Man.
He reveals there too. He reveals there too that she's gonna stay. He is gonna return to Hawaii for a time. She's gonna stay in Japan for work, so they are gonna be split up for a little while. But I think it comes with the understanding that he's gonna return.
It's gonna work out.
I do think one of his coworkers might have jinxed him though, because I think when he said that, and they were all like, "Oh, so it's gonna be long distance immediately." I think one of them remarked that, "Oh well, GG, that's the end. Like, that's it. It's over."
That's exactly what he said.
Yeah, it's all over. I mean, hey, man, like long distance relationships, they say they don't work, but
yeah, it's just rough that it happens so early in the relationship,
Yeah, definitely worked as a bad omen, seeing as how they're not together anymore anyway.
Right. The last major scene I can think of, aside from that barbecue scene that was alluded to earlier, is Marsa has a birthday party. She turns 23.
Right.
And this kind of coincides with the same night that the Hayato Riko thing ends. Like, we finally learned the final outcome of that night. But
yeah, it got kind of got overshadowed a little bit.
It did.
Because I completely didn't even remember the birthday.
It was her birthday, but
yeah,
for us it was
just spent
the
waiting.
crux of something. Yeah. It was like, will she or won't she?
Right.
They spent their time waiting, just like we're gonna leave you guys waiting for our thoughts on the Hayato Riko incident. That's gonna be coming next week. Aside from that, I think that closes the book on our Marsa.
Our very own Martha.
Marman.
I mean, but I don't want to I love Arman, but I don't want to let him off scot-free here because, one of the last things he says in the house when they're saying goodbyes to everyone is he says, when we all look up, we'll see the same moon.
Oh.
Everyone's like, dude, that's too fucking cheesy.
What?
Everyone was like, dude, that's way too
bullshit
cheesy.
is this?
Yeah.
Like, I swear I've heard that line in like a really sappy ass anime.
Ooh.
And it's
I'm
like, I
pretty
appreciate what you were trying to do, but dude.
Like, I'm pretty sure that's a line straight out of a Nicholas Sparks book too.
Oh shit, it would be.
Just layering it on the cheese.
It was rough. But Arman, we love you. We love you, Arman. I think it's safe to say one of my favorite dudes.
If you're listening, remember the same moon that you look up to is the same one we all look up to when we laugh at the fact that you said that on Terrace House.
Arman, also remember, if we're gonna start remembering things for Arman, remember to blink, please, every like 5-6 seconds.
Oh, and
it would
stretch
just
your
make
neck,
you look
dude.
that much more human.
Oh my god,
just blink.
That being said, if you're listening, Arman, give us a call. We want to have you on the show.
Yeah, real talk. Dude. I mean, we're just giving you some shit, but I also fully realize that even if all four of us tried to fight you, you'd probably beat the shit out of all four of us.
Absolutely, yeah.
So
speak for yourselves, guys.
Daily,
he got hit by a fucking car, and he didn't break a bone.
Pretty much, mostly.
Dalio is gonna lead a rebellion of tiny ballerinas against Arman. I wouldn't fuck with her.
That's fair. All I'm saying is, I'm saying this both out of fear and respect. We'd love for you to be on the show.
Fear and respect me.
Both.
Yeah, but hey, I mean, I have to think about it. I haven't devoted any thought to it yet, but I mean, they are a good couple. They're one of my favorites. They're one of the most functional, most adult ones. So maybe they might be my favorite couple. I don't know.
The most adult, wink, wink.
The scene where they kissed on the boat is like wallpaper, like worthy. It was that picturesque.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, they weren't as bad as like Sana and Noah though. We can't just act like they were some like crazy wild sexual couple.
No one got in anyone's lap.
It was church tongue. It was church tongue, Robert.
Sana and Noah came after this. So this kind of set precedent for the most raunchy on camera.
I mean, they did sleep in bed together in the boys' room every night.
Naked. As long as nothing raunchier happened in Next Door, which we don't know. This is maybe the raunchiest Terrace House was at the time.
Spicy.
Same. And I think that about wraps us up for this week's episode. If you enjoyed what we did, please feel free to tell a friend. Let them know that Terrace House is a great show on Netflix.com and that they can check us out afterwards, because Tadaima is a pretty good show to go along with Terrace House, if you know what I mean. If not, feel free to tell a stranger via iTunes. You can leave us an iTunes review. It'd help, and it'd mean more than you know, honestly. We've been seeing a lot of comments recently asking about Tokyo 2019-2020. The most pressing issue in the matter is I'm going to call it T20. I don't care what everyone else is going to acronym it as. T20 just makes the most sense to me. But also, we are not going to be covering it until it hits Netflix worldwide, as in America mainly, because all four of us are in America, and we're waiting for it to drop there. We do know that it's out in other places in the world, but we're just going to wait.
And we're really jealous, by the way.
Same.
Very.
I've heard many things, and I'm like, I want to see it. But
yes, and I'm trying to go on like social media blackout here too, and it's really hard because I want to go to the subreddit, so I'm like trying to be disciplined, but it is hard.
Appreciate our sacrifice.
Please just recognize we're doing this for you. We want to have fresh takes when we talk about this, so we're trying not to spoil ourselves here.
Exactly. Our initial estimates had us thinking maybe it'd come out in mid-August, and we don't know.
It just ain't. Okay, it's not.
Shut up, man.
Yeah, so it could come out as late as September, maybe, based on some dates we're seeing, but we don't know for sure. Netflix likes to hold these things close to their chest, which makes it great when you're trying to plan a weekly podcast, believe it or not.
Oh, thanks.
It's great.
It's been stressful.
But don't worry, we are going to come up with, no matter what happens, we're going to have entertaining-ass episodes every week. We promise you that. So I think some of our episodes might be bad. And I'm going for quality here, damn it. I don't know what kind of show you're doing. I'm trying to do a good show here.
If you have any questions, comments, concerns, feedback, anything you think we missed about whether you should skateboard barefoot, please send any and all of those things to us at questions@terracehousepodcast.com. You can catch us next Tuesday where we finally talk about the incident with Rico and Hayato.
It's fucking happening.
Guys, we've been holding back for these past 2 episodes, and man, I can't wait. It's going to be wild.
It's about to explode.
Yeah, but that'll be next Tuesday. This has been Tadaima. Thanks for listening. Itekimasu!
What up, Albania? Email us at questions@terracehousepodcast.com. Follow us on Instagram at TadaimaGram, on Twitter at TadaimaPod, and check us out on Facebook and YouTube at Tadaima, a Terrace House Podcast.